batch of homemade curry paste, and now it's time to make a meal out of it. So I'm just going to show you how to make a very quick and easy Chinese style chicken and vegetable curry. So using the batch of curry paste that we have previously made, we have about 2 heaped tablespoons of that curry paste here. As you can see, it's very thick and it's got a little bit of oil in it. So that is enough for 2 to 3 people. So maybe a heaped tablespoon per person. It really depends on how spicy and how thick you want your curry to be. Then I have 2 chicken breasts that have been roasted and pre-sliced. So they are going to be really quick to just reheat and add into the curry sauce. And then I've also got 2 large handfuls of new potatoes, which have been boiled with their skins on, and the larger potatoes have been cut in half just so that they're a bit easier to handle when you're having the meal. And also 2 carrots that have been chopped and peeled and boiled as well. And then aside from that, we have these edamame beans. And edamame beans are also known as soya beans. I have them readily available in the freezer, but you might have something like garden peas, so they're very easy to swap out. And also we've got a medium white onion chopped into chunks, and the only seasonings we need are a teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon of sugar. There's already lots of flavour that we've added into the curry paste, so it's really about adding the seasonings. You can adjust it according to your taste. Some people like to add extra garlic, but as we know, we've put tons of garlic into the curry paste already. So if you want it extra garlicky, it's up to you, you can add it in. If you want to add a bit of soy sauce in for a bit of extra umami flavour, again, it's up to you, you can add that in. And if you want extra chilies, then put fresh chilies in, or put a bit of chili oil, chili sauce, that would work as well. The only utensils that we have are a wok, and we've got a spatula, and we've got a little bit of oil, and we've got about 400 millilitres of water. We may not use it all, it really depends on how thick the curry comes up. And then we've just got the hob. So I'm just going to turn this on and put it on a high heat. So the wok needs to be pretty hot. If you don't have a wok, you can use a large saucepan, or a deep-sided frying pan would also work. Mine's non-stick, which means that I can use very little oil to cook with. And as we know, the curry paste has quite a lot of oil in already. So I'm just going to add a really small splash of olive oil into mine. It doesn't have to be olive oil. It can be vegetable oil. I just have this at hand, so I'm using some olive oil to fry off the onions just to get a bit of browning in there. And then I'm just going to let that come to a really high heat. As you probably already know, with any kind of stir frying and cooking with a wok, it is about maintaining the heat temperature. So we start off with a really hot wok so that when the ingredients hit the pan, they start cooking straight away. The more ingredients we put in there, the pan will actually lose a lot of that heat. So we keep it on a high heat to keep things cooking really quickly and bubbling away. So first of all, I'm going to add my chopped onions. Just leave those in there just to caramelise a little bit. So as you can hear, lots of sizzling sound and everything is just cooking away. We don't want it to be really burnt. We really like to have a bit of bite to the onion so that it adds texture to the dish. We have lots of different textures going on. We've got the softness and the smoothness of the curry sauce and the potatoes, and then we're going to add the edamame beans in towards the end so that they can maintain their crunch and their colour as well. We're going to get lots of nice colour from the carrots too, and we've got the protein from the chicken. I'm going to give that a little bit of a stir. If you do not already have meat that is ready cooked, or the protein isn't ready cooked, then it is best to actually pre-cook it and set it to one side before you start cooking the whole curry sauce and the curry meal. So I would fry off the chicken first. If I had some raw chicken, I would fry it off first and then set it to one side and then fry the onion so that the onion actually gets a chance to caramelize, because sometimes you get a lot of moisture that comes out of meat, and if you have that in the pan at the same time as onions, then that will end up having kind of more of a braising effect than a frying, caramelizing effect to the meat and the onions. So we're gonna just now add the curry paste in. So as you can see, it's quite oily. I've actually purposefully left some of the oil in there because I really want that extra flavour from that infused oil in the dish. So this is 2 heaped tablespoons of curry paste. So as you can see, it is very thick. Check the heat. And what we want to do is, whilst the wok is still hot, we're going to cook that through. So you can probably hear that it's making a sizzling sound, and that's the oils cooking away. And then because everything else is cooked and we just need to warm up these ingredients in our sauce, we're actually just going to make the sauce directly. So I'm just going to slowly start introducing water. I'm not going to put it all in because I want to be able to control how thick this sauce is. So as we know, we've put lots of plain flour and spices into this, and it kind of makes like a spiced roux if you're familiar with like a white sauce recipe. So what we're doing is basically introducing liquid into this. If you have any kind of stock, like a chicken stock or a vegetable stock, you can use that too. That's going to add some nice flavour. But I'm just using water, and we're just going to add it in batches. So that we can get a really smooth texture. So I really like my curry to be quite thick rather than watery. I think we might end up using the whole 400 millilitres. So now I'm just going to add my seasonings, which is the ½ teaspoon of sugar and 1 teaspoon of salt. So as we know, we've not actually put any seasonings in this paste. So this is going to bring it all together. I'm quite happy with that consistency. And then we just add in the rest of the ingredients. So that's the chicken. Just give that a quick stir. And as I said, I've already pre-cooked all of these. They just need to be warmed up a little bit. So that's the vegetables. We've got the potatoes and the carrots and the chicken in there. That's going to be a nice thick sauce over all of these ingredients. So we're pretty much done. We'll leave these for a couple of minutes just so that they warm up, and then once the sauce has started coming up to a low simmer, that's when we add the beans in. So These don't take very long at all. They were frozen and they're actually pre-cooked and then frozen. So I've just defrosted them under some cold running water, and they just need heating through, so they don't need a lot of time in there. You could literally put them in and then turn the heat off, and then that residual heat will warm them up, and then by the time you're ready to dish up, they'll be piping hot. So we're nearly there. So as you can see, there's quite a lot of food here. As I said, it can serve between 2 and 3 people, maybe even 4 people at a stretch. It really depends on how you decide to serve it. I would normally serve this with steamed jasmine rice and maybe some sauteed greens on the side. So if you've got some pak choy, or even if you've got some spinach or broccoli, you can steam some broccoli and put that on the side of it, and that would make a really nice, nutritious meal. So I don't know if you can see that it started to boil a little bit, come to a little bit of a simmer, sorry. In the middle, it's starting to bubble. So I'm just going to add these edamame beans, give it a little bit of a stir, and as you can see, that introduces a little bit of colour. And then we're done. So that is your Chinese style chicken and vegetable curry using the homemade curry paste that you have previously made, and lots of delicious crunchy vegetables and some leftover chicken. How are you going to have yours?